Good afternoon, friends. Welcome back after the lunch session. And as you all know, we are running more than an hour late, so we will have to really squeeze the next two sessions because we have the awards presentation immediately after that, and the chief guest would also be arriving on a very, very time-bound kind of a schedule. So thank you so much. Before I make the announcement, I will request the organizers to please usher the delegates back into the main hall. The next session is on network is the net worth. How telco networks will radically evolve in the face of open systems, 5G transition, changing digital native profiles and demands, and increasing partner collaboration. We have a very distinguished set of speakers with us this afternoon. I would like to invite on stage Mr. Ashwani Khillan, CEO of American Tower Corporation. I would also like to invite on stage Mr. Manish Sinha, CMO of Sterlite Technologies. It's my pleasure to also invite on stage Mr. Vinay Kumar, Director of Artificial Intelligence at Microsoft Azure. And I would also like to invite on stage Mr. Amit Malik, MD of Global SP segment, CISCO, looking after Japan, Asia Pacific, and the Greater China area. And I would also like to invite Mr. Ravi Saxena, Master Technologist with HPE India. So thank you once again. And before we start, I would again request the organizers to kindly usher the guests back into the main hall. I would like to invite Mr. Amit Malik from CISCO to start this session. Mr. Malik. And I am taking the liberty of requesting all of you to crunch as much time as possible.
So how much time do I have?
About 6-7 minutes.
Wonderful.
No.
Okay. No, I'll try and make it in 6-7 minutes. I'll probably cut short my presentation. But firstly, my fellow panelists, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon. Hope you had a good lunch. Let me ensure that you don't sleep through this presentation and take you through why network is net worth. Honestly, I actually thought that was a great topic, and we just came off a captain's roundtable where it was all about creating net worth. And for a minute, I was just going through how the last couple of decades have been for us and how so much has changed. A few years ago, there was an article which said, if I have a crystal ball, and somebody said, I can see a future, and the future is digital. Now we say the present is digital, and probably the future is Cognify. Yeah? There's a very interesting line which said, yesterday we electrified, today we digitize, and tomorrow we cognify. Every transition is actually creating a lot of potential for us. I mean, I know disruption can be scary at times, but disruption gives a lot of opportunity. A lot of revenue streams that exist today probably didn't exist yesterday. But one thing has remained common, which is the network, which is actually the underlying factor for anything which we call digitization. Anybody seen mechanized gold here? Some old fogies like me who's probably seen mechanized gold. Okay, if not, mechanized gold was all about the big gold rush that happened in the US, right? It was valued to be about $2 billion. Yeah, and in probably parity of 2018 terms, it'll be about $62 billion. We just see the potential for the digital rush, which is happening now. And this figure just keeps moving northwards. But what's powering this digitization? It is the network. The very definition of network has changed over the years, right? We probably started with a network which was purely about connectivity. We started with voice, data, convergence, data, voice, video, convergence. And today, everything rides around the network. Network is truly our first line of defense. The entire security today is embedded in the network. A network is what enables the connectivity of getting people together. Network today is driving GDP of countries. There's a direct correlation on digitization and growth of GDP. Closer to home, let's just look at India. Look what's happened in this last decade. Who would have thought that in villages, we will have upwards of 10 Gbps of internet bandwidth available? In fact, yesterday I was reading a statistics which says every second there are 3 people getting onto the internet in India. Every second. Yeah? Which is phenomenal. Till about just a few years ago, India used to be a laggard in terms of penetration of internet users. Today we are practically the number 2, which is fantastic. Which also means there is a huge opportunity that this digitization is bringing, whether it is cloud, whether it is IoT, whether it is video. And I'll probably run through my presentation a little faster, else I might be the only one speaking. But nevertheless, I think I will straight on go to the new shiny topic of discussion, or the new shiny toy today, which is 5G. And that is what I was speaking about a while ago, on where is the next big growth of revenue going to come from. And are we actually going ahead with 5G? Because it's going to be prohibitively expensive. But I think 5G is coming at probably the right time, because there is not one but multiple disruptions that are happening. In fact, the entire advent of the cloud, the virtualization, the need for security, and the advent of the software-defined network is today is probably going to cause the biggest disruption ever. If you look at the telecom industry, it's probably an anomaly where the volumes are increasing and the revenues are decreasing. Now that's definitely not sustainable, right? So what do you do? What is going to happen? If you continue the same path, this is definitely not going to scale. And as I see, 5G is going to be that big disruptor which is going to change the behavior of most service providers, where they're going to move from a B2C to a more B2B model. If we see the current pattern, probably 70% of the business for most service providers comes from the consumer industry, or the consumer, sorry, B2C. We'll see this shifting as we move forward, and the next 5 years it's estimated that probably 45 to 50% will be from consumer and the rest will come from the enterprise. And you see a big chunk coming from verticals. A couple of years ago, not even a couple of years ago, in fact, till a few months ago, when we used to talk to service providers and we say, you need to probably have a vertical approach as you move forward. And till date, this conversation when we have, there is obviously a lot of pushback saying, we are not structured that way. This is not our core area. Tomorrow you want us to work in smart cities, yes, there could be potential, but that's not our core area. But then you've already sweated all your assets. You have to redefine your core. You have to redefine the network. And that's how you unlock the potential of the network. You change your business models to go and address an opportunity which was not accessible to you earlier. Today, that opportunity is accessible because you're able to give differentiated experiences, which was not a possibility earlier. Today, a service provider, and as I see in the next few years, I'm sure will play a huge role in driving things like smart cities. Because I don't see CapEx-based models in smart cities going very far. In India, probably is one example where the government has invested so much in smart cities, but that's not what we are seeing globally. Because the governments don't have that money to invest. And they cannot keep on doing that as a sustained behavior, where they keep on putting money as CapEx. You have to build self-sustaining models, which are probably as a service model, and who better than running this than the service provider. So just probably explaining that in a little more detail on how this model is evolving. If you see how the model was earlier, it's a common pipe for everybody. But today I can give differentiated services to different enterprises. The advent of connected cars is also not very far, so many pilots already happening. But just imagine, you definitely need to have connected transportation as the most premium connectivity. Now that's where you'll be able to charge a differential sum. Lots of you who have kids who are into gaming, you'll be forced to shell out that extra couple of ₹100 for a better gaming experience. Moment you get low latency and you're able to provide a much better gaming experiences, you'll be willing to pay for that. Now, these are some additional revenue streams which will come thanks to 5G. In short, I think to really create that net worth, you have to unlock the power of network. And the power is in transforming the entire business model, transforming the architecture, and that network is intent-based. That network is software-defined. The network is one which is easily scalable and secure. So in short, let me say, let's create net worth through innovation and service creation driven through intent-based network. And I think I am well on time. Thank you so much.